Hey everybody, what's going on there? My name is Bob, they call me Blue. Welcome to my channel. So I was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma, throat cancer, about a year and a half ago. And I started this blog for two main reasons. One, to keep my family and friends informed of what's going on with me on a weekly basis or so. And two, to kind of serve as a record of what kind of happened in my journey. What treatment was like, what surgery was like, chemo, all the things that I was exposed to that happened to me, anything like that, I document here because when I was first diagnosed back then, I started looking around the YouTubes and I found some stuff, but it was all kind of high-end stuff, right? It was all kind of John Hopkins University stuff, and the average person doesn't want to, might want to know that stuff, but it's not. I think it's more interesting and more telling and more important to get it straight from the horse's mouth, another person that's going through it, right? So I don't pull any punches in this. I mean, some of the stuff I talk about is kind of, I'm not going to say graphic, but some of the pictures I show are a little bit graphic. I don't pull any punches, guys. I tell it the way it is pretty much in this thing. If I have constipation, I say it. There's nothing sacred, and I think that's important to tell the real story. So, and also I just cover or I go over regular things that happen in my life. Daily stuff, squirrels getting stuck in the roof, and daily, human interest kind of stuff that could happen to any of us, kind of thing. And hopefully you guys find it interesting. So sit back, enjoy. And here we go. This is Friday the 7th of May, and this is SITREP 69. Welcome back. So, the first thing I want everybody to know is I am a Christian. And so I dedicate a couple minutes at the beginning of every week's video to God. So here is this week's dedication to the Lord. We are human beings, not human doings. You're probably saying, what the heck are you talking about, dude? So, we spend so much time doing stuff. We're always trying to do stuff. There's always something that needs to be done, right? My big mantra my whole life was I'll rest when I die. I spent a long time in the Army, and it was always my thing, right? Because I didn't have anything else to do. I never paid any attention to myself, really, to be honest with you. I always focused on work. And you can't make yourself better if you're constantly on the run, right? I mean, if you drive along in your car and you hear a bumping noise, you know something's wrong, but you don't stop to fix it, how's it going to get better? So I think human being and not human doing means slow down a little bit, man. The rat race, it's always going to be there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Do a little more self-reflection and a little less paying attention to all the stuff in life that's going to make other people happy and other people rich. Slow down, man. Take a break. Pay attention to yourself. Get in the Word. God ain't going to kill you. The world will kill you, but God ain't. God's going to save you. So guys, what I thought I would do is spend a couple minutes and really going over the nuts and bolts of my chemo schedule. Now I know I've touched on this in the past, maybe 2 sit reps, but I don't think I did it justice, and I think it's important. So, for you guys to be actually see the schedule, so you kind of have a better understanding of what goes down, how it works. Now, the one thing I want to touch on that's kind of weird in the schedule is the 5-fluorouracil, 5-FU, That grenade gets attached on Friday and gets detached the following Tuesday. So I actually go home and this thing is plugged into the port in my chest and it stays attached here for 4 days, 4 or 5 days. I've been taking the time to do the math. I think it's 5 days. Anyway, it's like a cruise. It's 4 days and 5 nights. But anyway, so I'm going to take a couple minutes this time, break it out for you, and hopefully this makes a little more sense to everybody. Now, is this the typical chemo regimen? I don't know. It happens to be the one that I'm on, okay? So, here we go. Let's do this. So what you see here is my chemo schedule. If you look on the left, there is 4 iterations. Iteration 1, iteration 2, and iteration 3 are exactly the same. If you look over at the weeks, you have 3 weeks within each iteration. So if you look at the first week there, it started on the 23rd of April. That was a Friday, by the way. On Fridays, I go in and I get my cetuximab and my carboplatin through infusion in my chest and my port. And I also on that day get 5-fluorouracil, the 5-FU. That's the 5-FU grenade. And if you notice, the grenade is attached, and that will stay on until Tuesday, right? So you look off to the right, on Tuesday, the 5-FU grenade gets detached from my port. So that's the first week. Second week, I go in and all I get is cetuximab in my port, and we're done. The third week, all I do is go in and get cetuximab, and we're done. So you notice that's the third week of iteration 1 happens on 7 May, that's today. So I just got home actually about an hour ago from getting my 1 infusion of cetuximab. Then after that, iteration 2, iteration 3 are exactly the same. And then iteration 4, basically it says 4 to eternity. That's going to be every Friday I go in and I just get cetuximab every week. No more carboplatin and no more 5-fluorouracil. Now the thing is, actuality, it doesn't mean eternity. What it means is until no longer effective. Because at some point, this cetuximab is going to stop working and I'm going to start getting sick again. And that point we'll make a decision what we're going to do. But it's either going to be a trial or we're going to move on to the next best chemotherapy that's best for me and my disease. Critters? Oh, we going to have some critters. Brood X. Brood X is coming, guys. You know what I'm talking about, right? Cicadas. Yeah, it's year 17. They're going to be here before long. Now, everything I'm reading says like mid-May. So we've got a week or so left. But what you're going to see is we get a heavy rain. And then if you start noticing these little mud turrets, they call them, about an inch tall outside, sticking up out of the ground, that's a cicada. Now, when they're baby nymphs, they fall off the trees and they burrow into the ground and they sit under there and they get nutrients from the roots of trees and plants until they grow to full size, 17 years. And then the triggering event is this rain and heat. So what you're going to see is a heavy rain, the building of these turrets, and then after that, all it's going to take is warm temperatures and one nice, slow, soaking rain. And boom, they're going to explode in the billions, and that is with a B, bravo, billions. If you haven't experienced cicadas in your life and you don't remember it because you were too young, it is loud. It's loud, and they get everywhere. Trunks of cars, I mean, you name it, they get everywhere. So apparently what happens is the screechers, the guys that make the noise, are males. And they do that to attract mates. They go up in the trees, they screech, and you can't miss it. Like I said, if you haven't experienced this before, you're going to walk away going, wow, that was amazing. They go in trees, they screech, they mate. And then, as I said, the baby nymphs attach to the trees. Eventually they fall off down to the ground. They burrow in and they will become brood X in, what is that, 2038? Yeah, 2038 they'll be back. So, and as for the adults that mate, well, within a couple of weeks they die off. Now, it's not a totally bad thing. I will tell you, the animals, they love cicada season because they eat well. apparently they're not the only ones that eat cicada. People eat cicada too. You can see here, there's people waiting on them to come so they can saute them, Cajunize them, do whatever they got to do to eat them. Doesn't sound like something I'm going to get into, but seriously, a lot of cultures, insects are a big part of their protein intake. They're plentiful. They're very, very high in protein, and they're pretty versatile. You can do a lot with them. Maybe not as much as shrimp, but yeah. So the cicada coming to a lawn near you. So I've been complaining about an earache for the last year and a half. I'm not even kidding. And a lot of that was related to surgery I had. My jaw was messed up. I still have. That's pretty good actually for me. I still have trismus, lockjaw. Every night I do exercises to keep my jaw so I can open it. But I've had this earache for a while, and I just realized I had a recent CAT scan showed that I have this tumor that's grown between my nasopharynx and my oropharynx, and it blocked off my eustachian tube. Now this is my good ear, by the way. I wear hearing aids because of hearing loss in this ear, and I also have ringing in my ears. So, but this was my better ear, right? So this figures this is the one that's going to get messed up by this whole thing, right? So this CAT scan shows that I have this blockage, and you have what they call a eustachian tube that runs between your middle ear and your throat. And this is the thing where you're up in an airplane, you chew gum and you swallow it and your ear pops. So this is the means by which that happens. This tube helps to regulate pressure on both sides of your eardrum. Well, this tumor that I have blocked off my eustachian tube. As you can see in this fancy schmancy graphic that I made in the orange block. So what that has done is caused a buildup of fluid in my middle ear. So on the 24th of May, thank God, I go into the VA to get a drain put in my eardrum. And apparently it's just an office visit. You just go, it's an outpatient, right? Just go in there, scalpel, put a little hole in your ear, and put the drain in there, and that's it. So, but here's an idea. Here's the size of these drains. Is that amazing or what? But here's the ones that the VA put in. This is the ones that the VA uses. Because you know it's big, and it's old, and it's funny. Actually, it's kind of funny. You know, it's funny. Anyway, I digress. So that's it for my ear drain. Thank God it's going to be fixed on the 26th of May. I cannot wait. Right now, honestly, it feels like I hear a lot of voices. I hear voices. I do hear voices. I hear noises all the time in my ear. And usually it's like my heartbeat. And I'm not talking about, oh, that's cute, there's my heartbeat. No, I sit there for hours. I'll lay in bed and hear like my heartbeat, like loud, my heartbeat. It drives me nuts. I hear sometimes the like whirring of engines, like electrical motors, but there's no motors running around me. I hear the sound of like water slowly pouring like into a toilet, if you know what I'm saying. But that'll last for like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something. And then it just goes away. All kinds of weird stuff like that. So I hope to God that this procedure is going to make that stop. It's been long enough. I'd like to get all of my life and not hear these noises all the time. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. 26th of May. Woohoo! Yeah. That was my guitar ringing. How weird was that? Wow. So this next piece, I pondered even talking to you guys about it, but it's getting to the point where I have to say something. So I came across, I frequent YouTube a lot. I tell you guys that quite a bit. I watch a lot of YouTube. And we all come across those videos of people that have cancer and stuff. That hits a little close to home for me now, obviously. So instead of going, yuck, cancer, click, I stop and visit these these pages now, these channels. And I follow, a couple of people pretty closely. This one woman kind of caught my eye, and I'm not going to name names, but she is terminally ill with cancer. Apparently stage 4 breast cancer for years. And I'm talking, she's had cancer for almost 20 years according to her videos. So right off the bat, it's kind of like talking to one of those veterans. If you vets out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? Maybe some information doesn't quite seem on the up and up. Anyway, I got that. I got the squirrely sense going on, right? I'm trying not to, have ill will or feel bad toward this woman. At any rate, the first thing that kind of catches my eye is she starts talking about how long she's been sick, right? I'm not going to say she's fat, but this woman is big boned. She's a pretty large woman. To say, just leave that there. She's a pretty large woman. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, if you're that sick for that long, it's probably wearing you down. Although she might be on meds that are making her bloat or whatever. So I kind of got past that, right? But recently she put out a video talking about excruciating pain. Now, to me, excruciating pain is you're doubled over. You are man down, hurting unit, that kind of excruciating pain. But she goes in depth and she starts talking about the specific pain meds that she's on, i.e. morphine, which I'm pretty familiar with. And she talks specifically about the doses. Now these doses she's talking about, and the way she's talking about them is she kind of crept up on taking a full 30 milligram pill and waiting several hours to take the next one out of fear. Guys, 30 milligrams of morphine is something I take every 3 hours just for pain that might, on top of my normal pain, right? So I'm not trying to make myself look like a martyr or whatever here, but that kind of caught my eye. And it really, really caught my eye. Because now it's apples and apples. I can look at what she's doing and saying, look at my situation and be like, so here's my dilemma. I suspect there's a possibility that maybe there's some mental illness here. And I'm not going to begrudge, maybe she needs sympathy. I respect that. I got it. Maybe a little pity. I understand that. But there's two things that upset me. One, she has enough followers to where she can get her channel monetized. And monetized just means money, right? She can get paid money by advertisers advertising on her channel. And again, I'm not going to begrudge anybody, making money. Hey, if that's the way you want to make money, maybe she doesn't know better. Like I said, maybe she's ill, whatever. I understand. But what irritates me about the whole thing is she might be putting out. She's putting out bad information. And when you go there and you start putting out stuff that just is not true, you can be scaring, future cancer patients. There's people out there that are about to start taking morphine, and they don't know how they feel about it. And now they see these videos, and now they're scared to death. I mean, it's bad enough. Morphine is an opiate. So, you get hooked on it. It's pretty easy to get hooked on morphine. So, anyway, that's kind of my ethical dilemma. I mean, I feel like I should jump on her channel and just straight up call her out. Now, would I do that? No, not necessarily. Actually, I would. I would have a year ago. Maybe not, I don't know. But, yeah, it's just scratching at my soul, man. Anyway, I wanted to put it out there and just talk to you guys about it. And I want to get your take on it. I mean, how do you guys feel about it? What do you think? Would you do something? Would you say something? I mean, if you go on her channel and say something, you're going to be like the supervillain. Like there's going to be, pictures of you and the Batman signal like shining up in on the over the night skies of Gotham, right? You're gonna be like public enemy number one. And really, at the end of the day, like, how many people are gonna get your message positively? You know, be like, yeah, okay, thank God. You know, he clarified that because I was really scared. You know what I mean? Like, is the juice really worth the squeeze in this instance? So, what a tangled web we weave, man. Why can't people just be cool? Anyway, I thought I'd put that one out to you guys and see what you thought about it. Yep, on to the next target. So we hit 100 subscribers this week. Yeah. I mean, not that it hasn't been like a goal. It's not like I really like sought after it. I appreciate it, guys, by the way. Thank you very much. But yeah, it just kind of happened. So that's pretty cool. And I think, so I'm curious, who is the 100th? Who is the 100th subscriber? I'd like to know who you are and why you sub to the channel. What category are you in? Are you an old friend? Or are you a cancer patient or something? We have somebody that kind of stumbled on the channel and thought, hey, this guy's pretty cool. Or not. I'm just curious to find out what demographic you're from. Please leave me a comment. Thanks. So that was about a hodgepodge of stuff this week. Glad that I was able to knock it out early. Hopefully, a little bit of pressure off the weekend. Not that I have anything really going on in my life, but kind of nice to get things done over there. I like to get things done away. So. Anyway, guys, I hope you had a great week so far. I hope you have an awesome weekend. I think the weather around here is going to be a little bit cooler than normal, so I'll have to take a look, see if there's any last minute stuff that I want to do outside, because once the temperature cranks up down here in Florida, buddy, it's game over. You ain't messing around outside. If you are, you're going to basically be jumping right in the pool when you're done. Which isn't a bad thing. I happen to have one of those. Thank God. But yeah, guys, so have a blessed week. I hope this finds everybody happy and healthy, and we will see you next week. Bye.